Hello folks, this is Abhinay Gupta from Wikipedia World, welcoming you to today's lecture on accounts of companies. In our previous lecture, we have understood the section 134 of the Companies Act 2013, which dealt with the financial statements and the board report. In the previous lecture, we have seen the authority who signs the financial statement, right? And the content of the board report as well as the content of the director responsibility statement. So today we move ahead and complete section 134 with the remaining topics. So the next topic that we pick up in section 134 today will be the disclosure related to the conservation of energy. This is another disclosure, another section of the board's report. Generally what we have discussed is the points that should be disclosed in the board report, and the director responsibility statement was a part of the board's report. And over there we had mentioned a point which says about the disclosure about the conservation of energy, technology absorption, foreign exchange, right? So now we'll look into the detail as to what details of these sections should be inserted in your board's report, right? So let's see. So these details have also been specified in the Rule 8 of the Companies Accounts Rule 2014. So as per that, the board report shall contain a paragraph or the note on the conservation of energy. Now what details do the director need to display when they talk about the conservation of energy? They will have to show to their audience, to the readers of the report, to the people who are interested in it. They should be aware, they should be well informed about the steps that the board has taken, the board of directors of the company has taken for the conservation of energy, and what are the impact of those steps. Were they useful? Do they bear any fruit out of it? Right? They also have to demonstrate the steps that they have taken for utilizing the alternate source of energy, if any. Apart from the source of energy that they have been using, did they try for a cheaper and a better source of energy that would less deplete the natural resource, that would be beneficial for the environment? And thirdly, they also have to specify the amount of capital invested on the energy conservation equipments. This will actually show how keen the company is towards energy conservation, right? Are they worried about the environment? Are they environment friendly? Are they actually moving ahead to conserve energy in terms of the usage, right? Apart from the conservation of energy, they also have to demonstrate the amount of technology that they have absorbed during the year. Are they actually moving ahead with the time? Are they at par as per the technology is concerned? So the company needs to demonstrate or show the efforts that they have made towards technology absorption. And all these things that we are talking about pertains to the previous year for which the board report is being prepared. They don't have to write about the history. They have to mention what they have done in the year that is under consideration. They also have to mention the benefits that they have derived. Benefits like product improvement, cost reduction, product development, right, out of the technology. Taking the technology at the base. Now, when we talk about the technology, we will be considering the previous 3 preceding financial years also. So we hear the director have to mention in the report the amount of technology that they have imported in the past 3 financial years, right? They have to mention the detail of technology that they have imported, the year when that was imported, and whether the technology have been fully absorbed so far. Because whenever you import a new technology from outside, you import the know-how along with it. You import the process, the work, how it works. So are you actually able to provide it with the required manpower, with the required resources to absorb those energy or to absorb those technology? So that will take time. It goes on in phases. So that is why the board report requires you to disclose the details of the past 3 years. If you had imported a technology in the past 3 years, are you able to absorb it completely in the current year? That is what is the purpose behind asking you the detail about the 3 financial years, the import of technology among the 3 financial years, right? And again, if it has not been utilized, if it has not been fully absorbed, then what are the areas where the absorption has not taken place, right? That is what they have to demonstrate. And if it has not taken place in that particular area, what is the reason? So the board is held accountable at this position. right? And they also have to mention the expenditure that they have been incurring in the research and development. So to sum together, obviously the motive of the company is to advance ahead. So technology is a very important aspect, because obsolescence is the word that is related to technology, and that actually spoils the cook. So the board's report is prepared for the shareholders, for the stakeholders, for people interested in the company. That shows the working of the board. So if you are very keen towards absorption of the technology, then in this report the board has to give the full detail that will enable the users of the board report to understand the steps that have been taken for technology absorption, right? The priority that the board has given to technology absorption, right? And the next thing is the foreign exchange, the earnings and the outgoings in the foreign currency. That is also a major concern. Like, they have to be sure whether or not the company is hampering or benefiting the balance of payment of the country, right? So the foreign exchange earned during the year in terms of actual inflow, it's not about the accrual, it's about the actual inflow that they have received. And the foreign exchange outgo during the year, that too in terms of actual outflow. This is what they have to demonstrate. Okay, this is the amount that we have bought in the foreign exchange, there's many crores, so this many crores have gone out, so net this is what we have, right? That will show the foreign exchange that they have earned during the year. So these were the three disclosures that we had talked about when we were discussing the board report disclosure, right? But these three disclosures had to be dealt separately because it is an important disclosure, right? Where you have to give specific details that enables the report users, right, to understand what it actually means. Now, then after this, they also have to give the details of other matters. Now, what are these other matters? Other matters are basically the change that has taken place during the year, right? In the other matter section, they have to give a detail, actually the summarized detail of the financials. That is the highlights. Okay, these are the important things that have changed during the year. This is the actual outflow. If you summarize, this is what we have earned, this is what we have got, this is what we have changed, right? If there is any change in the nature of business, if for example you have into diversification and went into a new era, a new adventure, into a new section, then you have to mention it in a board's report that okay, this is the new venture that we have started. This is where the nature of business changes, right? So this is an important step. So all the changes will be reported in the other matters. The third thing is the detail of the director or the key managerial person who have been coming into the company in the year. That means who have been appointed new, or those old people who have resigned during the year. The change in the composition of the board has to be shown. The stakeholders should be aware of the people who have left the company. Okay, these are the people who have served the company well for the years, but now we will not be accompanied by those people ahead. Or these are the new people, the new shoulders on whom the responsibility of the company rests. Now when we talk about changes, you also have to declare if you have taken in new subsidiaries, new associates, or went into new joint ventures, right? Or if any of the old subsidiaries, associates, or joint ventures have left. If something of that sort has happened in the country during the year, you'll have to mention it in the board report, right? Along with it, the details relating to the deposit that you have taken, the deposit which is covered under chapter 5 has to be given in the board's report, right? You'll have to give out the detail of all the deposits that you have accepted during the year. The details, who gave the amount, how much did it give, for what period is it given, right? Those details have to be given. Then you also have to give the details of the deposits that have remained unpaid, that were supposed to be paid but have been remaining unpaid in your account or unclaimed at the end of the year. Now when we talk about deposit, we have seen the deposit accepted, the deposit that remained unpaid. Now they also have to give the details of the deposit that they defaulted in making the payments, the return payments of the deposits, right? You'll have to mention what is the amount of default that existed in the beginning of the year, what is the maximum default that reached during the year, and the default pending at the end of the year, right? So you'll have to show the flow of defaults. And if you have taken in any deposit which is not at par with the requirement of chapter 5, you will also have to give the detail of those deposits, right, which are non-compliant. Then the details of the significant and the material orders which has been passed by any court, any tribunal, right, and those which are material means that may affect the going concern of the company. So if any orders of the court has been so material, so critical for you that it may affect the going concern, you will have to specify it in your board's report. And the internal financial control that they have established, that we had talked about in the previous lectures, you will also have to give the details in respect of the adequacy of your internal financial control that you have established, right? So this was the basic content of the other matters that we discussed, and now we'll see the scope of the board's report, right? So the board report that will be prepared by the board of directors will specifically be based on the standalone financial statement, right? And as far as the consolidated financial statement is concerned, when you consolidate a financial statement, you consider the subsidiaries, the associates, or the joint venture. So since your board report is basically framed on the basis of the standalone financial statement, the board report will also contain a separate section for giving out the details or the financial position of that subsidiary, joint venture, or associate with whom you have prepared the consolidated financial statement. So basically what we understand is that the board report is prepared on the basis of the standalone financial statement, and then you include a separate section for the consolidation purpose, right? The details are given separately about the performance and the financial positions only, right? Now, who will be signing the board report? It is the same thing, like the people who were responsible for signing the financial statement, basically being the chairman of the company, if he is authorized by the board of directors to do so. And if the chairman is not authorized, any two directors of the company, among which one should have been a managing director, right? And this is the case only when the chairperson is not authorized. And unlike the signing of financial statement, the CFO, CEO, and the CS of the company will not be signing the board report, because financial statement was the responsibility of the entire company, but board report is the responsibility of the board. The board gives out its own report stating the facts, the matters, the procedures, the work that they have done during the year. So the company secretary, chief financial officer, or the chief executive officer have no role to play in the board report. So it is very simple. You don't have to memorize these things. Who is supposed to sign what? Because since these people have a major role in the company, they will be a part while they are signing the financial statements. But board report is a matter of the board individually. So nobody outside the board of directors, outside the panel of the directors of the board, will be authorized to sign these things, right? Because these work have been done by the board, and the board knows what is done and what is not done, and they are accountable for the same. So you don't have to memorize who will sign what. Just you need to understand who are the key people at the top level management, who are the responsible people, right? So the responsibility of the specific thing will vest accordingly. When it's a financial statement, it's the responsibility of all. When it's a board report, it is the responsibility of the board, right? And now if there is a one-person company, or if let's talk about one director, then the board report and any annexure thereto shall be signed by such director individually. There won't be a requirement of two directors, one MD or something. That is very obvious. If there is only one director, you can't have two directors, right? But since it is specified, so I had to tell it to you. Now what is the board report in case of a one-person company? When it's a one-person company, what report will it prepare? In that case, the person does not have to give out a detailed board report as we have seen in the case of the entire company, in a normally functioning company, right? In a one-person company, the board report shall contain the explanation or the comments, okay, by the board on the qualification, reservation, and the adverse remarks or the disclaimer made by the auditor in his report. So in short, in simple, if it's a one-person company, they only have to give the explanation or revert to the comments made by the auditor in its auditor's report. It do not have to give out the working. It's a one-person company, he is the sole runner of the company, is the sole owner of the company. So there is no such requirement to give out a board report. Who will be the interested users, right? That is very limited, right? So the scope of board report has been restricted just to give out the explanation and remarks on the remarks given by the auditors, right? So that is all about section 134, the financial statement and the board report, and we'll wind up the class with this, and the rest of the topic of the chapter will be continued in the next lecture. So till then, this is Abhinay Gupta signing off. Thank you.